has had a big impact on me in the way that it taught me to really view the different levels of cognitive demand. I feel like that's the thing that resonated with me the most, was coming to that realization that I used to do 99% procedural teaching, and that was not okay. And so now I'm very dissatisfied by that when I find myself doing that. And when I reflect on my teaching, I try to ask myself, am I hitting all of those 4 levels of demand at least at some point throughout the unit? Are kids doing an open-ended task where there's no algorithmic thinking that goes with it? And are they doing, am I making connections between the procedures and not just doing procedures on their own? And that's had probably the biggest impact, is just constantly thinking about those 4 levels. My favorite part of the grant was probably the book studies and the Joe Boller course, because I'm an academic, nerdy type mind, and I like diving into a book and reading it and thinking about it. And the lesson studies were helpful as well. So one of the tasks that I tried was called the bike and truck task, which is a graph of a bike and a graph of a truck, and there's no numbers. And I tried, that was one of the first kinds of these tasks that I tried. And I remember telling the whole team, because they were coming to observe me, that they're not going to talk. This is the quietest class I've ever had. And they barely ever talked, and it was all I could do to get them to talk to their neighbor about anything. And I put this task up, and I just said, what do you notice about the graph? And that's how it's supposed to be framed. And I think it was because the question was so open-ended and there was no risk. They could say whatever they wanted. And it was so easy to hop on and just start talking that the class just totally erupted and everybody was talking. And I remember just looking at everybody just going, wow, I did not see that coming. And that was one of the things that clicked for me, like, oh, okay, there's something to this, because when I do those, kids really enjoy math more. I mean, nobody wants to just be taught one procedure and then repeat it 20 times. It's super boring for them. And when I do one of those open-ended tasks, I have kids come up afterwards sometimes and say, I had one kid last week when I did a Joe Boller task, and he said, I haven't thought in math class in 5 years. And he said that was the first time I've thought that deeply in math in a long time. And he was like, I'm excited about this year. Finding that as I do this more and more, that I have moments of excitement about the ones that work really well, and it's kind of naturally spreading to other people. The other day I was talking to my colleague Ben and telling him about how well this cube task went from Joe Boller, and he was like, oh, send me the link, I'd love to try it out, because he could see the excitement on my face that it actually went well, and that I was actually excited enough to share it with him when I didn't have to, just because I wanted to, because it was fun and it went well. So it's starting to spread kind of organically that way. And then we also have our PLC meetings where we get to share things in there as well. The PLC structure is definitely helpful too, that we have those conversations in there, and gotten to do a couple professional developments with the team and share those resources I mentioned, like Which One Doesn't Belong and Illustrative Math and all the places that we go to get these tasks. It was fun to do a training with the team about where to get those. So.